Wisconsin has become a sore subject for Democrats ever since Hillary Clinton lost the state in 2016, effectively handing the election to Donald Trump. For both camps in 2024, Wisconsin is a key piece of the upper Midwest puzzle, and the reason Republicans held their convention in Milwaukee. So no surprise, Donald Trump will be in Wisconsin tonight, making his pitch to voters in La Crosse. For more on what's driving voters in Wisconsin, I'm pleased to be joined by Jessie Opoien, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel state politics reporter. Jessie, good to have you.
Thanks for having me, Essie. It's good to be here.
Okay, Jessie, let's start with the Harris campaign and your reporting about a new sense of optimism in the state. What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, we were seeing, really looking at polling going back to last fall, a massive enthusiasm gap between Democrats and Republicans here in Wisconsin. Before Biden dropped out, some 40% of Democrats said that they were very enthusiastic to vote in November, while 60% of Republicans were feeling that way. It's basically evened out since Kamala Harris entered the race.
And Tim Walz was, of course, picked as our VP because of his Midwest roots. What are you hearing from voters about his impact on the race there?
Well, I think he's very relatable here. He talks about things like cleaning his gutters and coaching football. He's a hunting enthusiast, but also supports some restrictions on gun laws. So he's kind of threading that needle here in Wisconsin pretty well, I think.
And what about Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance? He was also chosen to appeal to voters there. How's he doing?
Yeah, I mean, he's been coming here a lot. He said that he is basically living in Wisconsin now. He's been coming and talking about crime, talking about the economy, obviously really important issues to voters on both sides of the aisle.
You've also done some reporting on the new push for African-American voters in Wisconsin. Tell us about that, and could this be a deciding factor come November?
Well, in particular, speaking to Black women after Kamala Harris entered the race, there was just this new sense of enthusiasm. A lot of the people that I've spoken with have said, yeah, they were going to vote for Joe Biden, but they were kind of dragging their feet to the polls. And now I think there's a lot more enthusiasm to actually get involved, to go volunteer, to, actually get involved with the campaign.
Black women so important in every election. We'll see if they're a deciding factor in this one. And how is an uptick in Democratic enthusiasm playing out in other non-presidential races down ballot there?
Well, we've got a huge U.S. Senate race here with Tammy Baldwin fending off a challenge from Republican Eric Cupp. She's been pulling ahead most of the race already. That probably hasn't seen as much of an influence. But in talking to state legislative leaders in particular, we have new legislative maps this year with way more competitive districts than we've seen in quite some time. And again, it was sort of, there was enthusiasm, there was interest, but now it's so much easier for them to get people to volunteer, to donate money, to get involved.
So it's trickling down. That's interesting. And finally, Jessie, Donald Trump is in La Crosse today for a town hall. Tell us why that part of the state is so important to his campaign.
Well, Western Wisconsin is just hugely important. You've got the Democratic strongholds of Milwaukee and Madison. You've got swingier parts of the state, and then you've got Western Wisconsin, where there's a lot of rural voters, and you've seen it go back and forth so many times in the last few elections. So, this is Trump's first visit back to the state since the RNC. He's holding a kind of different style of event. It's going to be a town hall, not a rally that we're traditionally used to. So, and anyone who wants to win Wisconsin is going to have to go through Western Wisconsin.
Jessie Opoien from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Thanks so much for all that great information. For more on all of this, visit us at battlegroundnews.com or click on the QR code right here. You can sign up for our newsletter, download our interactive swing state map, and find our social media links. And if you miss an episode, that's okay. You can catch up on YouTube or through our podcast.